that start. So welcome everybody to MS Views and News. My name is Bri Rhea. I'll be the Pilates instructor for today's class. This is going to be a completely seated class where you'll be in a chair. Some props that might be good to have nearby will be some weights. So if you don't have any lighter weights, 1 to 2, maybe 3-pounders would be good. But if you don't have those, water bottles or even soup cans can be a really nice addition or a substitution, excuse me. So my spiel that I always say before class, we want to make sure that you are using the energy of the muscles, okay? So we want to make sure that we're not just flailing everything around and acting crazy here, but that you are feeling and controlling and activating the muscles in an appropriate way and not in a way that you feel like, oh, I have to push through pain to get to this. Like, that's not good. You don't want that. No pain, no gain is not a good kind of mentality to have. Another thing to remember is the breath. So in Pilates, the breath is very important because as you are exhaling out, that allows you to achieve a better, not only posture. When you inhale, you want to expand everything open out and away. And when you exhale, you're trying to pull the rib cage together. You're trying to pull the navel in towards the spine. You're trying to lift the pelvic floor up and in. And those big points of contact are where you can find the deep core that help you to stay upright in your posture. So active body through our movement, constantly focusing on the breath, and always remember to have fun. So listening to your body is most important, but we want to make sure that you guys are coming back enjoying the movement that we have for tonight's class. Okay, so let's get started. I have my weights nearby, and we'll start in a seated position just to warm up through the body. Feet are planted onto the ground about hip distance apart. Yeah, just put the weights off to the side. We want to make sure that we're warmed up before we actually do use them. So I want you to start with a couple of shoulder lifts and lowers. So inhaling as you lift, and then exhaling as we lower. As you continue to inhale, lift, and lower, notice how the muscles on top of your shoulders start to tighten with that lifting motion. And then as you exhale, let's go ahead and drop the arms down by your side, like you're trying to touch and reach towards the earth. Inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. 2 more times, lift and lower. And last final time, lift and lower. So now with those hands remaining down by your side, I want you to turn your right palm forward, the thumb is out, and turn your left palm behind you, thumb is in towards your hips. Okay, so now look down and towards the right palm that is focused forward. And then as you exhale and switch, left palm turns forward, right palm turns back. And you continue to exhale and rotate the neck around, just starting to get a little bit of nerve flossing through the shoulders, through the neck. So noticing that if you are twisting, or like noticing how far you twist, if the body starts to kind of twist with you, just noticing that. It's okay if it does, but as you notice this, we're trying to become more aware of our body. So Pilates is a very mindful movement practice. So one more time to the right, one more time to the left, and then leave the arms down by the side, look back forward. With your arms down by your side, I'm just going to show you what it looks like from the side. I want you to start to gently nod the chin forward and then lift back up. And we want to make sure that as you are lifting up, that you're not just like cranking down onto the neck and opening up through the front of the chin or the throat. And as you look down, that you're not just dropping the chin forward, but controlling the motion. Almost think like a candy cane. You want to lift up and then move forward. And then as you come up, that top of the head is being pulled up by a string, and you kind of pull the chin forward as you start to bring the gaze up. Let's do that just a couple more times. Leaving the hands down by the side and up again. One more time down, gently moving, being in control of your body, not at its mercy of it. And then focus back forward, okay? Now from there, go ahead and look towards the left And think of your chin scraping down the chest. So you feel maybe the collarbones, and as you're scraping down, gently bring your chin off towards the right shoulder. Make your way back to the left one more time. And then look back forward. Okay. Now, if you do have, like, if your chair is, far enough away from you that you can hold on underneath of it, that can create a little bit more of a stretch on this next series here. So your left shoulder, or excuse me, your left ear is going to go down to your left shoulder, creating a stretch down to the right side of your neck. Okay. And just breathe there. And then go ahead and lift back up. And exhale over to the right side, right ear to right shoulder. Sometimes, like a compensation pattern that may happen is you might start to feel your left shoulder lift up. So try to keep that down and keep that space between your shoulder and your ear. And then lift back up, okay? Alrighty, so now hands release from the chair underneath of you and starting to side bend to the left. And maybe you reach your right arm up and out towards the side, okay? As you make your way back up, inhale. Exhale, maybe the left arm lifts up as the right arm reaches down. And then starting to move like a cartwheel. So you want to think about your body reaching the arms away from each other as you control the movements through the sides of the body. So each time you lift up, that's a big inhale to help expand. Inhaling, lifting, and then exhale. The other side to the left. Inhaling back up and exhaling to the other side. One more time to the left. And then last time to the right. We want to make sure we're even on both sides there. All right, now try to hold the arms out to the side. If holding the arms lifted gives you any discomfort or pain here, just bring them back down by the side. But trying to keep that lift will start to open up more of the chest and the shoulder strength. As you twist to the left on your exhale, inhale, bring yourself to look back forward. Exhale to the other side. Inhale, back forward. As you continue with those rotations from one side to the next, try to notice if the legs are staying still, okay? So what I mean by that is if you're holding something between your legs, your knees are not driving forward and back, okay? They're staying right next to each other. Let's try that one more time to the left. Inhale, look back forward, and exhale to the right. Now hold that twist to the right side. Drop your left arm down to the right knee, and with your right hand, either bring it underneath of your chair or even to the back of your chair if your chair has a back on it, okay? So now we hold that rotation, holding that twist. And now to challenge yourself to make sure that you're not just, that you didn't just get lazy right here, lift the back hand, lift the front hand, and hold that twist. Lower them both back down and exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. And exhale, lift. One more time, lower, and exhale, lift. Hold that lift and rotate all the way around to the left side. Your right hand goes down to the left knee. Your left hand comes back behind you, okay? Looking over that back shoulder, can you lift a little taller? Can you hold that rotation as you start to lift one and then both arms up and away and back down again? Lifting and lowering, all while keeping that rotation. Inhale, exhale. Two more. Think about a string lifting you up taller, taller, taller. Last one. Now hold those arms lifted and then rotate yourself back around towards center. Nice job. With your hands, both of them resting onto the knees, try to lift yourself up so that that string, that puppet string is lifting you up, okay? So like even, yeah, pull yourself up, hands back down, and then try to slide your hands forward as you bow forward, trying to pull the belly button up away from the thighs as you roll down into this nice flexion spine, and then stack the spine up nice and tall on your inhale. Exhale, rounding forward. Imagine you've got a ball underneath of your belly and you're trying not to touch it, and then lift back up away from it on your inhale. Use that breath to focus on the synchronicity of the movement. All right, 7, 10. So now from here, as you continue rounding forward and down, exhaling as you make your way down, inhaling, lifting back up one more time. Down and then up. Good. And then reach those wrists out in front of you and start to roll them around. Okay. Again, if holding those shoulders out in front of, or holding the arms out in front of the shoulders feels like too much strain on the shoulders, just bring them down by your side and continue with those wrist rolls. Okay. In one direction and then switch. Switch the directions there. Awesome. Okay. Now, if anyone has ever done like the walk like an Egyptian dance, this next series is going to help to floss open and open up those nerves in the shoulder girdle here. So I want you to start with your hands out in front of you like you're holding a platter, okay? Just like that, holding a platter. And then what's gonna happen with your right arm is you're gonna reach it out to the side and keep reaching it away. While that happens, the left arm is going to reach down, out and away, okay? So there's your like walk like an Egyptian, okay? So then when we come back in, bring the arms back into that cervical platter position and then switch. Your right arm goes down and back, your left arm comes up and away. Good. And then bring it back in front of you, serve that platter. And then let's try to rotate and just watch where that right arm goes. So your neck is rotating and a little bit of the thoracic spine is rotating, and you come back through center and then watch where the left arm goes. Come back through center and try to figure out or just notice. And that's my favorite word if you haven't noticed that already, notice. But noticing, where does the stretch, where is that felt when these arms are kind of twisting around here? Okay. And of course, if like one arm feels like any pain or discomfort during this movement, you can do this one armed. Okay. So one arm can go out to the side as you hold the other arm down by your side. And if you want to, maybe the other arm comes down behind you. Okay. Movement is medicine though. So as we're moving, we're going to do one more each side to the right. As you're moving, we're kind of moving some pieces. We're gliding the muscles, the connective tissue past each other. Last time on the left, and bring your hands down by your side. So by moving these pieces past each other, you might start to notice that like, oh, that stretch that I started to feel in my chest, like that feels a little bit more open now. Okay, so just notice these things as we move through our class for today. All right, so now with your arms down by your side, so think like a scarecrow, like scarecrow arms. I want you then to rotate up into your goalpost arms. Rotate down into your scarecrow arms and rotate up into your goalpost arms. Okay. Now, while this is happening, if you can see how my elbows don't drop down or even stay down, you want to keep them in line with the shoulders here. If this gives you any pain or discomfort, here's your other option. Bring the elbows down by your side, your palms up, and rotate out and past each other, noticing which arm comes on top each time. Switch and alternate, okay, if that's your option there. With those elbows staying in close towards the side or up by the side, you want to make sure that they're staying within that same position the entire time. So that 90-degree position at the arms. Try that one more time down or out, and one more time up and in. Okay, then bring those arms back down. Awesome. Now let's bring our attention down to our feet, down to our ankles. So from here, you're going to make sure that with the feet here, you can lift and lower, lift and lower. And while this is all happening, come back to where the spine position is. We want to make sure that tailbone is nice and heavy underneath of us. The rib cage is wrapping in. So imagine you've got like a big belt buckle that's wrapped around your waistline, around your rib cage. And that navel, your belly button is pulling in towards the spine. Let's do about 5 more of those lifts and lowers. Think about like if you were wearing shoelaces and somebody is pulling those shoelaces forward and then letting your feet drop back down. 4 more. And you might start to notice any snap, crackles, or pops like Rice Krispie treats. That's just your body's body language of like opening up some space between the joints. As long as there's no pain there, it is completely normal and fine. Last 2. And final 1, okay? Now from here, leave the feet planted. You're gonna bring your attention to your right leg, okay? So here's just like off to the side. Right leg is going to straighten out in front of you. If you can't lift it this high, that's fine. Slide the leg away from you and then pull it back in. You either slide or lift, so we get that knee flexion and knee extension. Okay. And if we're coming back to that puppet string, you can also think if there's a puppet string on the bottom of your toes and there's something that is pulling those toes back towards you and then lengthening it back out. Okay. So a lot of imagery you'll hear come up in Pilates, and that just helps to like connect the nervous system to the actual movements with the muscles, the neuromuscular system. So go for 2 more of those. Pressing down heavy through the opposite leg to help to balance. And now the left leg's turn to move. Right leg super heavy as you straighten the left leg, or you slide it out and bend it back in. Okay, so as we're doing these, pulling that navel up and in. Exhale during the most challenging part of the movement. For me, that's when I lift the leg. But for you, it might be a little different. It might be when you're lowering the leg, because that can be like a very hard to control motion. Okay, so we want to make sure that if you are lifting the leg, that you're not just dropping it back down. Controlling it in both directions is just as important as just lifting it up. Okay, last 2 here. And then final 1. Okay. All right, now from there, bring your arms back down by your side. Start with some little circles, like you got little Pringle cans off to your side and you're just scraping the edges of it, okay? And start to make those circles a little bigger, okay? Now you've got like a brownie batter bowl. I'm like, I guess I'm really hungry now because now I'm just like cueing you all through some food. So you got a salad bowl, how about that? Just scrape all the dressing out, okay? Keep making those bigger circles depending on what feels best for your body. The circles might start to get a little higher than shoulder height and lifting up and around. Okay, nice job. That's it. And now depending on how big your circles are, we come back down to end and start circling backwards or just in the opposite direction. While this is happening, we want to make sure that like the body isn't moving back and forth or side to side, but that you're maintaining the stability from the core. Start to make those circles a little bigger. Now we've got beach balls, okay? The size of a huge beach ball or maybe like a hula hoop. As your arms go back, feel where the tension of the muscles is coming from in the back of the body and maybe where the stretch is coming from in the front of the body. Awesome. All right, now bring those hands back down by the side. Hopefully everyone's a little bit more warmed up. We got one last little series here. I want you to lift the heels and bring the toes apart. So this is called a Pilates V Stance. Let me just make sure you guys can see that. Sorry. So with the heels lifted, okay, and the toes are turned out, when you do that, that'll automatically open the knees apart from each other, okay? So keeping the hands either on your hips or underneath of your chair. I'm going to keep them on my hips for now. I want you to close the legs on your inhale and then exhale them open, okay? And now I also want you to figure out or imagine that you're moving those legs through quicksand. So if you're not quite sure, like, I don't know what that means, or like honey or peanut butter, put the hands on the outside of the knees and try to push those knees in as your knees are pushing out. So you start to create the resistance yourself. You've got a $100 bill between those heels, so don't drop it. Don't let those heels separate from each other. Maybe even look down and see if it is there, and if there is actually a $100 bill, and to check and see that you're still holding on to it. 5 more. Staying lifted and tall. Now, once you've checked on that $100 bill, lift back up. Spine is tall. 4, 3, 2, good, and 1. Then you bring it back together, lower those heels down, give yourself a couple of ankle rolls in one direction and the next. All right, so now this is where you can bring those weights to the party here. So I'm going to have 2 weights in my hands. And if the weights start to become a little bit more heavier, put one of the weights off to the side, bringing it down. So anytime that we are like adding resistance, it's always going to be a chance for you to challenge yourself, but we want to make sure that you're not overexerting yourself. So listen to your body first before you start to listen to me, okay? So from here, you're going to bring those weights, interlace the fingers in between and bring the weights right to your chest. Okay, so with them resting onto the chest, we've just added a little bit of weight here to work through our hinge back. Your feet are planted into the mat, into the ground. Lift up on your inhale, and as you exhale, hinge back. If you have a back of your chair, try to touch it, and then inhale yourself back up again. As you exhale, think about that puppet string pulling you back towards the corner of where the wall and the ceiling meet. Inhale to lean it back, but if it feels like you need to exhale back, do that as well, okay? As long as you're breathing, never hold the breath. Always breathe through the movement. And so now the difference between our hinge back and what we're going to work towards with our C curve is that we are not collapsing the spine. Well, we're never collapsing the spine in Pilates, so we're not making sure that we're not rounding our spine back, but instead lifting up, 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 up and away, and then bringing yourself back up again. If you would like more challenge, a little bit more spice here, you start to bring those weights a little further away from your chest, okay? So now it's like you're just holding a baby out in front of you. And you're like, ew, the diaper is stinky, okay? So just like you would hold, or maybe I hold a baby like that, because I'm never on diaper duty. I'm the best aunt ever, but never on diaper duty. Inhale back, exhale forward. 2 more times. And then after this last one, try to hold that hinge. And from there, pull the weights back in, reach the weights back out. Okay, if that does not feel good in the arms, lower them down and continue with that reach and lower, or reach and push, pull and push, pull and push. Remember that hugging the belly button in, wrapping the rib cage around, lifting the pelvic floor up is going to feel like everything is just kind of like pulling up inside of you rather than pushing out. You've got 2 more. And then the last one, bring yourself forward, rest the weights down onto your thighs right before they get to your knees. Okay, so right there. Now from there, stay tall, stay lifted, make sure you're not arching your back forward or back, okay, but instead just nice and tall. You're gonna start to lift one leg up and down, alternate the other leg up and down, okay? So just like you're walking in place. But as you're doing this, I want you to make sure or pay attention to like if the body starts to wobble from side to side. Instead, try to stabilize the body, and you do that by pushing down into the leg that stays into the earth as you lift the other leg up. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Nice job, you guys. That's it. Try to keep those shoulders soft away from the ears. Think about lifting the head away from the ears. Good. Now start to march your feet out away from each other. So you're getting a little bit wider there. And now keep that width. Okay, so those weights, if they start to feel a little heavy on the legs, the way that you make them feel a little lighter is you start to roll the weights closer towards the hips. So if you're not really sure if that would actually work, just try it. And if you're like, no, I like that heavier tension, just roll them closer towards the knees. Okay. Now start to walk the feet back in front of the hips, hip distance apart, and give me a couple more there, about 3 more each side. On the right, exhale, lift the left. Right, and then left. Last one on the right. And then the left. All right, now bring those weights back up, interlace the fingers around them, and hold them as close to the chest as you can. Make sure those shoulders stay down, elbows stay wide. And from the profile, now we work on our C curve. So now this is where it starts to get a little bit more technical. We want to make sure we're not just collapsing your spine back, but it's actually still that we're trying to lift up as the tailbone starts to like scoop underneath of us. So if somebody were trying to poke you in the belly button, you're trying to pull that belly button away from them. And it's like your tail is trying to scoop underneath of you as if you're like a puppy dog that just got in trouble. So like get that scoop and then lift back up. So notice how when I did that, my shoulders don't round forward and I don't get that little like hump in my back there, but I actually keep the chest open and the navel pulls in, the rib cage wraps around a little tighter, and that bikini line, like the lower parts of where the hips come towards the torso, really lifts up and in. Okay, so keep lifting and rounding. And remember, if you want a little bit more spice, you reach those arms out a little further away from you. So there's your stinky diaper baby. Remember that if those weights start to get a little bit heavier than what you want, you just put one of them or even both of them off to the side. 2 more here. And now last one, we hold that little baby C curve, okay? Now from here, as you exhale, lift one leg up and inhale, lower down. Exhale the other leg up and inhale, lower down. So notice how we layer into the movements. We were just practicing this move with the weights. So now these leg lifts might start to feel like, oh man, that feels like super light now. So now that you're holding that engagement from the core, allowing yourself to lift the legs to your height that feels comfortable for your body. The other leg that stays down, stays super heavy. 3, remember your hands can be in close towards the chest or out away. 2 and 2. Last one and 1. All right, now bring those weights back down onto the legs. Maybe give yourself a couple of shoulder rolls or rotations through the spine if you started to feel a little tight there. Okay. All right, so now hands and weights stay down onto the thighs. Now we're gonna work on hinging forward, okay? So it doesn't just mean that like you're moving forward and back, but I want you to think, remember that beach or that ball that's in front of you, you're still trying to hug the navel up and away from it. So as you go forward, your elbows start to go out to the side, and it's like you just made a wish in a wishing well, and you're trying to look over the edge and see if it came true. Then from there, push into the hands and stack the spine back up again over the tailbone. Okay, so here it is from the front. Elbows start to go out wide. Inhale forward, and then exhale, press into the hands, lifting back up. Inhale, lift forward and then, or lift up and then forward, sorry, and then press back up. So that same image of moving your body through some really thick honey or molasses or quicksand or peanut butter. As you're doing this, keep those shoulders soft away from the ears and then press into those weights into those legs to lift yourself back up. Try that 4 more times. Inhale forward, exhale, lifting up. It's looking great, doing awesome. Use the breath to sync up with the movement. Final 2. Awesome. Now on this last one, hold your hinge, okay? With your weights into your hands, you reach them down by your side. Thumbs forward, palms in, okay? So here's what it looks like from the front. With this hinge back position, or excuse me, hinge forward position, hug the belly button up and in and start to open the arms out to the side. If those weights feel heavy, you just let them down onto the ground and continue to move out and in. Exhale, inhale. Pull the shoulder blades together and keep a slight bend in your elbows. Okay, and there's no need to look forward because that's going to put a lot of strain on your neck. Look down. You're still trying to look and see if that wish is coming true. It's a really deep well, so you're not sure if your penny actually made it to the water yet. Exhale, 3 more. 2. And last one. Come back up. Rest the weights back onto the lap if you still have them. Give yourself those shoulder rolls again. Nice job. So now maybe you're starting to realize that like, maybe I don't even need those weights. You can still feel how your body is working with you through this movement. All right. So now from here, you're going to bring the weights, if you still have them, in front of the chest again. Okay, so just by holding them into the chest, you add resistance already to a movement that you can do on your own without the weights. So feet are nice and heavy. Inhale to stack the spine tall and prepare, and exhale, rotate yourself to the right. Inhale, look back center, and exhale, rotate to the left. If you don't have those weights, bring your hands into like a prayer. But keep that prayer or your weights in front of the heart, okay? So of course, if you only have one of those weights, hold it in between both of your hands and think about pushing your hands into that weight. So one hand is pushing against the other hand that is also pushing. As you're rotating, you are helping to literally move food through the digestive tract, moving things along, helping the organs to glide and slide past each other. So not a lot of people think about movement as like anything other than a workout, but you're also helping all the rest of the organs of the body work efficiently with each other. One more to the right. Inhale, center, and exhale to the left. And inhale, center. Let's place that one or both weights down onto your lap, pretty close up in towards your hip crease. Okay, so just resting them there, and your hands are down by your side. Okay, so with them down by your side, I want you to start to turn the palms back behind you. We're working on chest expansion without the weights first. So looking forward, feeling that puppet string lift you up, and press the hands back. Inhale, only bring the hands right next to the hips again, and then exhale back. As you continue to inhale forward and exhale back, maybe you start to notice how the expansion from the chest here is opening. As you pull your hands further back, make sure that you're not just like popping your heart forward or arching the spine back. We want to keep the spine tall instead. Okay, if you would like a little bit more spice into your life, you add your hinge back and continue with that chest expansion. Okay, and when I say spice, I just mean like literally you're making a little spicier, a little bit more heated to where your core or the furnace of the body right at the center line of the body starts to get a little bit more heated, a little bit more spicy. Try this one more time, reaching back and then bringing it forward. Hands onto the knees, cat and cow to the spine. Inhale and exhale. Two more times. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Open the heart, lifting the gaze, and then exhale, rounding the shoulders, pulling the navel towards the spine and tucking the shin as you look down. All right, grab those weights if you still have them. And this time you're going to pull them up into like a closed goalpost position. So not wide, not yet at least, but narrow. Okay. So we've got those elbows out in front of us here. Feet are super heavy. And think about like if you could push into the ground with your feet here, that energy will help you to lift the weights up. Okay, and we don't have to go all the way up overhead. And the reason why is because when that starts to happen, watch my shoulders. Like we don't want the shoulders to lift up by the ears. They're not earmuffs here. Just to a place where you start to feel the shoulders creep up, that's your stopping point. And then lower back down. Okay, so we want to stabilize under the shoulders as we lift something up overhead. So just like you would in like normal everyday life, pushing that weight up overhead. And if you want to, you drop one of the weights and push one of the weights up overhead. That's your modification. Another modification, imagine you've got those weights and keep pressing. 3 more here. Keep hugging that belly button in towards the spine. Last 2. Good, and then the last 1. Okay, then from there, weights out in front, but pull them out towards the side. Okay, then it's like you're playing a game of peekaboo. Pull front and out to the side. In and out. Inhale, exhale. And notice when the elbows come out in front, you feel maybe a little bit of a stretch in the back. And when the elbows pull back, you feel a little bit of stretch in the front. Continue with those same movements. We got 4, 3. Good job, you guys. Good. Last 2. Keep that spine upright, lifting tall. Final 1. Bring those weights down by your side and just let them hang, okay? So lifting anything up overhead can start to creep those shoulders up by the ears. So by holding those weights down, maybe giving yourself a little bit of a neck stretch can be helpful here. So one ear to one shoulder, lift up and gently place the other ear close to the other shoulder. One more time each side. All right. So now with those weights out in front of you, okay, so for me, my arms aren't quite to the point where they're going over the knees, but we're working on that spinal flexion. So it's like they're about to waterfall over and down the shins. Remember that when this happens, you've got that ball in front of your belly, come up, whoops, don't lose the weight, come up and then over that ball as your weights reach down, okay? So inhale, lift, exhale over that imaginary ball, shaving the legs with your knuckles or the weights. And then from there, lifting back up, trying to lift with the core, not the shoulders or the upper body. Your arms are just kind of hanging those weights heavy down towards the ground. Exhale down, inhale up. 5 more down. Going to a point where you can control the lift back up. Okay, so this is where you start to realize, like, okay, where is my limit in the body? How far down can I go in control and not strain myself to lift back up? Hugging the navel in, pulling the pelvic floor up. Remember, that feels like you're pulling something up inside of you. If you were sitting on something, lift it up inside of you. Last 2. And now in this last one, when you go down, drop the weights, or don't drop them, but like lower them down towards the ground. So let them rest onto the ground, but then come back up again. Okay, so come back up without the weights. You got it. Good. Now from there, right leg goes out long out in front of you. Okay. Point and flex through the foot there. So you get a nice flexed ankle and a pointed ankle. And now I want you to keep the toe pointed. So these are called our one leg circles. So with that leg staying long, you either are scraping it from side to side onto the ground, or if you can lift the leg with the core, lift it up, bring it around town, up, over, and around. You're gonna give me 8 in each direction. So you already got about 5 more. 4, and as this is happening, okay, so that Pringle can is at the end of there, the body doesn't move to compensate for the movement. You stay stable here for 3, 2, and 1, okay? Lower that leg down, maybe give it a little wiggle, a little wobble from side to side. If you need to bend that knee, bend it. Okay, and now we go in the opposite direction, stretch that leg out, okay? From there, hug the navel in, lift that pelvic floor up, wrap the rib cage around. Your hands can maybe rest onto or underneath of your chair. Lift the leg up, bring it around in the opposite direction. 7, 6, 5. Notice how my body is not moving with the leg. 4, but instead everything above the hips holding strong and stable. Last 3, 2, and 1. Good. Bring that knee back in, give a little wobble, a little shake from side to side. Okay. If you notice that when that leg goes out away from you, if your body does tend to lean back, that's fine, but make sure that it doesn't start to lean forward and back. Okay. So if you do notice your body leans back, can you hold that position? Okay. So now let's try that on the left side. Left leg reaches out in front of you. Give it a couple of points and pulls. So like that puppet string is pulling the toes up and then lowering back down, up, maybe roll the ankle around a couple times. Okay. And now if you were looking down at the foot, we want to make sure that we don't like break the line of alignment. So the top of the head is nice and in alignment with the bottom of your tail, okay? So that tip of the head, tip of the tailbone alignment. Point the left toes, lift the leg, open it out towards the side, drag it across the ground, and your circles can be as small as like that Pringles can or like a baseball size, or as big, as long as you are in control of the rest of the body, as big as a beach ball, as big as a basketball, a soccer ball. 3 more, 2, and 1. Lower that leg down, pull it in, give yourself a couple of wobbles from side to side. You can even wobble both legs side to side, okay? This is also a chance for you to explore the body here. Do what feels best. Make it a dance move, make it fun, okay? Left leg slides out in front of you. Keep yourself lifted and tall. Remember, if you need to hinge back and keep that position of the body as you lift the leg up, bring it in, across, and out. In, up, across, and out. 6, 5. Make sure that the movement is only coming from the hip. Sometimes I see a lot of people with that ankle doing the movement. We want to make sure the whole movement comes from the hip. Last 3, 2, and 1. All right, lower that leg back underneath of you. Bring those legs in through some movement there. Kind of wiggle out any tension if it started to creep up. Awesome. All righty. Now with those feet back underneath of you, knees stay bent, your arms will come down by your side with one palm forward. Let's do right palm forward, left palm back, just like our flosses that we did at the beginning. So as you inhale up nice and tall, I want you to exhale, twist towards the right. And as you twist, it's kind of like those Egyptian arms, reach to the right. Inhale, bring yourself back to your start position, but twist the left palm forward, right palm back. Look to the left and reach to the left. Inhale, come back and restart again to the right and reach. And get yourself into that side bending position, okay? So it's almost like if you kept going, you kind of fall off your chair, but you're trying to keep the opposite hip that you're reaching away from heavy. So if I reach to the right, my left hip is suction cupped down to the chair. Also pay attention to how the feet feel. Push down through the right foot and the right hip and lift back up. Exhale, 2 more times to the right. Inhale up, 2 more times to the left. Inhale up. Remember that exhale helps you to pull the pelvic floor up and in. Try to lift it off away from the chair. Last one to the left. And inhale, stack the spine back tall again. Nice job, you guys. All right, so now hands can be down by the side or up behind the head. Okay, so we've got some options here with our side bends. This hands behind the head position is going to be a little bit more challenging, so just notice that. I'll show you first with the arms down by the side. You want to try to scrape the opposite arm, so we're going to go down to the right, scrape the left arm up the side body, and then lift back up again. Slide the left hand down and the right arm up when we go for those side bends here. And you'll notice that as you go down to the right, you feel a little bit more of a stretch through the left. Okay, and if you want to, you can reach that arm out and away just like we did for the warm-ups, but again, making sure that the hips and the feet stay suction cupped down onto your chair, onto the mat, onto the surface below you. Okay, and as those arms are lifting up, if they are lifting up, that the shoulder isn't coming up by the ear, okay, but rather staying down. If you had a phone there, we're not trying to hold it next to the ear there, keep it away. 2 more to the right. And 2 more to the left. Each time you come up, try to lift a little taller. Remember that puppet string. Exhale. And exhale. Last one to the left. Awesome. All righty. So now we're going to need to scooch ourselves off to the side. So let's go towards the right side. So just your left leg is resting onto your chair. We're getting ready for a Pilates move called Sidekick Kneeling. So if you would like to have one of your weights kind of nearby, you can put it off to the chair that you just kind of slid away from, or having it within hand's reach is an option as well. But your left hand, we're going to make sure that left hand stays down onto the chair, does not come off and away or slide off. The right leg reaches off to the side. okay? Side, and we're about to kick it up, okay? So with that left hand giving us the support, the left leg staying heavy onto the ground, I want you to start to bend into your left arm. So you lower your upper body, and there's your angle right there, the angle from your head to your heel, okay? Feel it, align it, feel how the navel pulls in, and you may start to even feel that right side of your glute turning on already, okay? So now from there, press back up into your left arm. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, pull back up. Okay, let's try about 3 more of those. Inhale and exhale. 2 more. Hugging that navel in, pulling that pelvic floor up, wrapping the rib cage around. Last one. Now hold this angle. So top of the head to bottom of the heel. You hold that arm down, maybe even grab underneath the chair if you need to, and maybe you lift that right leg up. It is okay if it does not lift at all, okay? But the intention is there. You'll start to feel, maybe even put your hand there on the side glute, side leg. And if you would like a little spice, so that means only if the leg is already lifting, a little bit extra spice there as you take your weight onto the side of the leg. Okay, and that just adds more resistance, okay? But that is only if you're already getting that clearance of the leg off away from the ground. Great job, you guys. 2 more. And last one, okay? Lift yourself back up, bring that leg back in. Give it a good stretch by bringing the right ankle on top of the left thigh, okay? If you feel any sort of twinge in the knee or kind of tweakiness in the knee, pull the toes up towards the shin, okay? That puppet string has pulled it up towards the knee there, and keep that active foot there to help to protect that knee joint. You can lean forward for more of a stretch. You may already feel like, no, that's pretty good. I'll just stay right here, okay? Imagine that when you breathe in, that breath goes right to that hip pocket where you feel the stretch coming from. And as you exhale the breath out and away, you feel that release kind of bring you down a little closer or further into that stretch. Let's lift back up and we'll switch to the other side. So right cheek, right foot, making its contact with the chair. You slide yourself off to the left side. And remember, one side will feel different and may even look different than the other side. So at least you're trying to get into these positions here because you might surprise yourself. Right hand is down onto that chair and you start to bend the elbow. Okay, find that alignment. And if you can see your screen, you can feel and see from head to heart to hip to heel. Okay, and then you press back up again. Give me 5. Inhale to bend into your right arm. Maybe place your hand onto your belly and feel if you can feel that engagement through the core. From hip point to hip point, okay, feeling that navel pulling in between those 2 spaces. From rib point to rib point, spaces pulling in between those 2 spaces. Last and final one, you stay down, okay? Then maybe that arm comes onto the hip to feel the engagement of the muscles to lift up, okay? And it's okay, remember, it's okay that the leg, even if it doesn't lift away from the ground there, you're still getting that intention of mind to muscle connection. If you do want that little extra spice, if that leg is already lifting, bring that weight to the party and give me 3 more. 2 and 1. Nice job, you guys. Place that weight down, bring yourself back up. And then the left ankle comes to the right thigh. Bringing yourself into that stretch. Maybe you stay upright and you're already feeling that stretch pretty good, pretty well. And then you lean forward if you want a little bit more, pulling those toes up towards the knee. Giving yourself that little extra cushion there. Okay. Remember that the breath, as you expand into that space where you feel the stretch, the breath is like, Joseph Pilates used to say that the breath is like a shower. It cleanses the body. So if you can take as deep of a breath in during these movements and as deep and as extensive as a breath out, then you are literally cleaning the body, kind of scrubbing the insides of the body. Go ahead and lift yourself back up. Place that foot back down. Give yourself maybe a little shake from side to side. All right, and then from there, we come back into our Pilates V. If you don't remember what that is, your heels are together, your toes are apart, and you've got a little V there between that position. With the knees out wide, if you look down at your legs, they kind of create like a little diamond shape from hips to heels. We're gonna lift those heels up, and you might have to walk the feet or the toes in a little closer towards each other. Okay, and now as you place the hands, this time, if you didn't do it before, place the hands onto the outside of those knees. And it's not really gonna look like much, but we're gonna feel a lot happening here. You wanna push in with your hands as you pull out with your knees, okay? So we're trying to lift your spine up tall. And it doesn't look like we're doing much, but I am like really working here to like, it's like a push of war, okay? So my hands are like, ooh, pushing past each other as my knees are trying to, ooh, pull out away from each other. As all that's happening, feel the butt underneath of you on your chair starting to, maybe it's already turned on, or maybe you start to feel like, oh yeah, there I am lifting up and feeling that engagement of the legs. Now from there, let the arms win, push the knees together. Then let the knees win, pull them apart. Pull the knees together and then push them out. So what you may start to feel is your biceps right here in the front of the arms. Okay, a little bit of chest as well. A lot of bit of core. Okay, hugging that navel in, staying upright rather than just collapsing forward and trying to close and open the legs, but staying upright and working against yourself. You are creating the resistance for yourself. 4 more. 3. Last 2. And then after that last one, you're going to keep that. Well, grab your weights first and come back to your Pilates V position. Okay, so your heels are lifted, toes are apart, hands with your weights are down by your side. Okay, so now it's a little bit of a combo move. Okay, so I want you to start with a bicep curl. Okay, we've already got them warmed up. So with that light grip on the hand weights, you're going to lower the arms down by your side and then pull them back up by your shoulders, lowering and lifting, inhaling, exhaling. Now, as you lift the weights, can you close the legs? As you lower the weights, can you open the legs? So now it starts to become a little bit of like pat your head, rub your belly, okay? Can you do these 2 motions at once and make it look as effortless as possible? Squeeze the legs together, open them away from each other. Make sure that it's not just like you're lazily opening the legs and then you're just gonna close the legs, but like move against that quicksand as if your hands were still trying to push those knees together and you're like, no. And then you're trying to open the knees apart and your hands were trying to push them out or push them in and you're like, no. So keep going. Oops, I think close the knees as you lift. And it's okay if like sometimes like if you're lifting and the knees open, literally as long as you're moving, okay? And I think I did just switch it on myself. Let's do 2 more. And last one. All right, now leave your knees together. Keep those heels lifted. If your legs are tired, drop the feet, okay? But give yourself a little break. I'm going to leave them lifted and together to feel those inner thighs and outer booty. Hands are halfway in that bicep curl. So it'll look like this here. From here, you're going to open out and close back in. Okay. If your heels are still lifted and your toes are apart, you're still in that Pilates V, you're going to open the knees, close the legs, open and close. And try to feel which movement feels most challenging for you. Honestly, in this one, like both opening and closing can feel challenging. So move a little slower so you can exhale. Take a quick sniff, inhale, and then exhale. 3, last 2. And 2, keep those elbows close in towards the body. 1 and 1. All right, lower the heels down, the weights down, and just let those arms just hang, okay? Give yourself those neck stretches where the ear comes to the shoulder. Lift up and bring the opposite ear, or not the opposite ear to the opposite shoulder. That'd be interesting. But the same ear to the same shoulder. Awesome. Okay. Now from there, lift and stack the spine tall. This time, thumbs up, palms in towards each other, like you're about to clap your hands. Okay. So we're going to do a little alternating. Let's start with the arms first. So one arm goes down as the opposite arm goes up. Doesn't matter which one, we're going to alternate. So I'm going to choose right arm up, left arm down, left arm up, right arm down. Okay, so it's just the same sort of pattern if we were like slow motion running. Okay, as you're doing this, bring your attention to your feet. Okay, if it starts to get too confusing, do one or the other. But now as the right arm goes up, can you lift the left heel up? And as the left arm goes up, can you switch and lift the right heel up? Okay, so back to that combo move of sort of like patting your head, rubbing your belly. Okay, but instead it's lifting your arm, lifting your heel. Okay, as you're doing this, like I'm feeling, and it feels really good with those snap, crackle, pops. My feet are opening up, my ankles are opening up the space into the joint space here. And if you would like a little bit more spice, I'm going to offer you up the option here to reach the arms further away from you. Okay, so taking the arms out in front of you, and what that does is it just increases the lever. Okay, if you have a longer lever, it's going to feel heavier. But if you start to notice those shoulders coming up towards the ears and you're just losing your neck here, that's not what we want. Keep the neck long. If it does happen, you lower the weights back down. 2 more. Each side. Find your Goldilocks. Where's your sweet spot? 1 more each side. And then lower those weights down by your side. Left ear, left shoulder. Lift back up, right ear, right shoulder. Nice job. All right, so let's place those weights down by your side. With the right arm coming to, like, go ahead and like, almost like you're sniffing your deodorant, turn your head towards the right, and then your right hand comes behind your head, and then bring your chin down, just a slight stretch there to help open up any tension in the back of your neck there. Left arm stays heavy or just rest it onto the lap. Then go ahead and lift yourself back up. Turn your gaze towards the left as your left arm comes behind the head. Test your deodorant, make sure it's still working. It's the end of the day though, so it's okay if it's not. Just make sure you shower. And then lift yourself back up again. Turn to face forward. And with your hands now, I'm going to show you what it looks like from behind. With your hands behind you, interlace or grab your wrist. So if you can interlace your fingers, that's great. If you can grab the right wrist, that's even better. If you can't at all, you can like kind of lengthen out your sleeve and give yourself a little bit of that stretch there. So left hand onto the right wrist as your left ear comes to that left shoulder. And then lift back up, grab and switch to the left wrist, right ear, right shoulder. Nice job today, guys. Awesome. Lift back up with your right leg. Go ahead and reach that out in front of you. Okay. And then with your hands resting onto your left thigh, go ahead and start to bend yourself over that right leg. You'll start to feel a little bit of a stretch coming down the back of your thigh into your hamstring, maybe even into the calf if you can pull those toes up towards you. You want to think about the top of your head lifting away from your hips. Remember to cleanse the body here. Take a big breath in. And 1 more breath out. Then from there, stack the spine up tall, and we switch to the other side. Right foot down, hands onto the right leg, left foot out in front of you. And then as you bend forward, try to keep those hips down onto the ground or onto your chair. And then pulling the top of your head forward as if it were going over the foot. Or remember what it felt like to look over that wishing well, hug the navel up and in. Nice job today, guys. And then stack the spine tall, okay? All right, so now the feet are gonna go wide as you can get them with your hands, the fingertips turned down, and your hands like pressing onto your thighs, okay? So as we're here, like try to make sure that you're not losing your neck, but lift yourself up away from the shoulders. You might have to bend the elbows to do that. And then as you drop your right shoulder down, you're gonna look towards the left. Try to push your right leg away from you so you get an inner thigh stretch in that and that chest stretch as well. Inhale, lift back up, and exhale, rotate to the right as you press the left knee away from you. And continue to switch from one side to the next. Inhale up and exhale down. Inhale, lift, and exhale, rotate. There you go, good. One more each side. So we look to the left, maybe if you can, even try to look past that left shoulder. And back up again. One more as you look to the right and push your left leg away from you. All right, you guys. Good job today. Give yourself a round of applause, making sure that you are drinking enough water, especially after these classes. The water can help to bring like the tissue to help it move a little bit more efficiently, but also for you to feel a little bit more like alive after these movements. Remember that if you are coming back for these classes, it's also great to drink before as well as throughout your whole day. Your body just works a lot better. Like your nerves can fire a lot more efficiently. Your muscles can glide past each other a lot more efficiently. So just thank you again, everyone, for coming. I appreciate you. We appreciate you at MS Views and News, and I hope you guys enjoyed this class. So look forward to seeing you again next time. The next date is going to be March 14th, which is also a Monday. So looking forward to seeing everyone again. Thanks, Nina. Bye, Karen. Good job today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.